We are back. We are back, you guys. The first game of the Premier League restart, and we do what we set out to do. We get the 3 points against Aston Villa, a vital, massive 3 points that helps us create a gap between us and Manchester United. And this is going to be crucial because we have so many difficult games in our fixture list run-up. After this game, you guys, we do have Man City. So it was even more important, more vital that we got the 3 points today to create that points gap. And, you know, if we don't get the favourable result against Man City next week, that's not going to really put us in a massive disadvantage. Now, this game was pretty typical for how most of our games have tended to be this season. You know, so many nervy moments, some great moments of quality as well. And I couldn't help but think, imagine if Ziyech and Werner were playing in this game. Especially down the right hand side, where this team was in desperate need of a player down the right hand side that had a left foot. We created so much space down that side, so many possibilities to take shots on goal. Honestly, I cannot wait for Ziyech to come next season. He's going to improve us so much, and I can't wait for Timo Werner. But you guys, this isn't about these guys today. It's about the match review. And before I get into anything else, quick plugs out of the way. Remember, today's video was brought to you by the One Football app. If you guys download the One Football app right now, you can use the Football app's great, handy, quick feature to get the latest match stats surrounding the team and individual players as well. Now, of course, it's not like it's Opta stats, it's nothing too groundbreaking, but it does give you a quick, brief idea of how the game was from a tactical perspective. It's another example of the useful features that the One Football app has. If you guys want to try it out for yourselves, you'll find a link below in the description. We now start with things, and we start with the team lineup. Now, we did end up using a 4-3-3. We saw N'Golo Kante playing as the holding midfield plan. You guys stay tuned because I have a lot to say about Kante's new role. We saw some surprises in the selection with Olivier Giroud starting up front and Marcos Alonso playing as the left back. Now, what does this mean for Emerson that he can't get game time over Alonso, especially playing in a back four? I don't know, you guys, but it seems like his stock is real low right now. And of course, the big reveal, I guess, is it really one? Loftus-Cheek playing and starting his first game in 13 months. Of course, you guys, I've got a lot to say about his performance too. But for me, what this lineup reflected was, you know, who was the fittest players in the squad right now? You know, as the season does go on, I can imagine that Reece James and Tammy, etc., they are going to play more games. And it's going to be interesting to see how Jorginho's involvement is going to be like in the team too. We move on, and Aston Villa were very stubborn opponents. They did have that advantage of already playing a game during this restart, and it seemed like they were really benefiting from that, especially in the first half. They were stubborn, they were deep, they were parking that bus. Was that any surprise really? And for large portions of the game, we really struggled to break down Aston Villa and their low blocks. It seemed like Aston Villa were happy for us to have the ball out wide and put crosses in, but that was the funny thing which ended up being their failure in the second half. I really don't remember Aston Villa having too many counter-attacks or any attacking opportunities. It seemed the only threat came from set pieces. So, you know, let me just get the only disappointing thing out of the way. The way we conceded that goal, you guys. Now, the sympathetic part of me feels like, okay, you know, the players haven't played for a long time. They aren't fully matched up. I've been watching games of La Liga and the Bundesliga. I've been seeing these typical defensive mistakes made throughout every league. So, you know, it's systematic of obviously players, you know, taking more than 100 days out from playing competitive football. So I'm not really surprised by that. However, when it comes to this Rudiger partnership, this Christensen-Rudiger partnership, at times I do feel like they do have a defensive mistake in them. He did have some threat in the first half, and most of that came from Mason Mount. Now, I was really impressed by Mason's performance. It really showed the evolution of the player and how he's been improving as a player as this season has gone on. You know, he was roaming in the final third between the lines, picking up very good positions to help create those overloads down the flanks against Aston Villa. That's why in the first half on the right-hand side, we were constantly able to find a free man down that side with either Azpilicueta or Willian. It wasn't only in these areas that Mason Mount really shined, also receiving the ball from deep in midfield, he was able to actually, you know, create attacks, great threat on goal. He was really our only midfield player that had any type of attacking threat. So for me, it was a very good performance. He was there for the team. He was involved in all the crucial parts as well. And again, big performance from Mason Mount. This now moves us on to my favourite player, That's Loftus-Cheek, and you know what, I gotta be very real and honest with you guys. I guess I was getting a bit too hyped up and gassed, you know. Ruben's my favourite player. I've been waiting to see him play for a very long time. I guess the moment got to me. I was envisioning things like, what's this thumbnail going to look like after the game? I was thinking about things like, what type of Loftus-Cheek photo am I going to use, you know, once this match review comes out? It wasn't to be, and of course, I should have been a lot more realistic, you guys, because he hasn't played in 13 months. I feel like when he played in the left wing role, we won't see him there permanently. He was only there for now because we are light in that area. Pedro won't be playing. Hudson-Odoi was out as well, and we were stacked in midfield, and of course Lampard had to use the mids. So for this point in time, for Ruben to actually grow into the game and build that match sharpness and fitness, this was, I don't know, it wasn't the best cameo, but at the same time, what could you really expect? For me though, as this PL restart does continue on, I don't think I ever want to see Ruben playing down the flanks. For me, he is much better receiving the pass from the DM, driving from midfield, playing in the middle. That's when Ruben's at his best. You know, when he receives and faces the goal, he's amazing. You know, playing further up, he has to play with his back to goal. It relies a lot more upon his movement in behind. And this is where we saw the lack of sharpness in Loftus-Cheek's game. You know, at times he was really slow behind the play. There was an amazing opportunity early in the first half where you were thinking he's going to get on the end of the far post cross, and he wasn't able to. If he was fully fit, if he was fully there, you can bet any type of money that ball's going in the back of the net. But at this point in time, it wasn't to be. So the only positive is that, you know, he was able to run, and hopefully this gives the player the momentum to obviously just carry on and fully get back to that level we know Ruben can. Now for me, one of the big players today, and if I had to be honest, I'd probably name him my man of the match. That was N'Golo Kante. Now, there's been so much discussion surrounding Kante. A lot of people in the fan base are actually creating a lot of lineups, not even having Kante in the midfield. It feels like maybe his stock has fallen a tiny bit due to the overabundance of injuries. And, you know, I really hope this game really just summed up and really highlighted why Kante is a world-class player. Now, I've been mentioning this point for a very long time. I've released a lot of videos involving team lineups, etc, etc, and I've always had Kante playing as my DM. Now, I have got a lot of critique for it at times. A lot of people have disagreed, rightfully so. You can have your opinions, you guys. But for me, the reason why I knew this would just make perfect sense is because of how Kante has been used during these previous seasons. You know, you can't play further up in the final thirds and be a bad player. You know, Kante has improved on the ball. His passing selection, playing forward passes all the time. He was playing forward passes very early, one touch control, second touch pass. He's been a master at that aspect of his game for a very long time. And sometimes it kind of frustrates me a tiny bit because it feels like Kante's just overall technical game isn't really highlighted about or spoken about. You know, this was no surprise that Kante was going to be able to play as a DM. You know, his passes today, the weight of them, the confidence, you know, he was spraying those balls, he was carrying the ball in the final third. And for me, the most impressive thing, and the reason why I feel like, you know, this will most likely be his final position as time goes on, was how he single-handedly stopped any Aston Villa counter-attack by himself. You know, Kante's ability to win 50-50s is that, you know, it's probably the best 50-50 tackler for me in Europe. When you're a counter-pressing team, you need your DM who has the confidence and the conviction and the ability to win those balls cleanly and kicks up the next move. Now, at times with Jorginho, a lot of his game falls down at times due to his lack of physicality. But with Kante, you know, he knows where to sniff the danger out. He knows where to cover runs. He has the physicality, the engine, and the technical ability too. I'm really hoping that we start to put some respect on N'Golo Kante. We can never sell this guy. He is one of the best midfield players for a reason. And it's actually great for us that we have him back in the team because now he only improves things. Of course, you guys, we need to speak about the goals and most importantly, the impact made by the players that scored them. Christian Pulisic, after a while, he came back and literally like his first few touches of the ball, he puts the ball in the back of the net to make it 1-1. Now, I love how he got in the books. It's been a trademark of Pulisic throughout the season. You know, his movement inside the box is really good. He has the pace, the anticipation, most importantly, and he got in the end at the far post. You know, we've been teasing that type of delivery throughout the game. We didn't have the player to do that. Ruben wasn't able to because he just isn't fully there just yet. I can finally admit that, you guys. But it seems like Pulisic was ready. And I was just thinking, if I was an Aston Villa defender, the last person I want to play against would be a Pulisic. So, thank God for him. Captain America coming through. He looked silky. The first touches were there. And, I'm looking forward to seeing his attacking involvement as time goes on this season. Olivier Giroud needs to get a shout out to, because his ability to just hold the ball up gave us that platform where we really needed it at times. Aston Villa's Mings and Courtney House, I thought they put in some impressive performances. They were strong, they were physical, they were getting tight to our strikers, and Giroud was competing. At times he was playing against two of them. I thought his link-up was on point. He deserved the goal he got, and he was really suffering at times due to that lack of quality service. So for me, I'm always going to keep saying this. I was absolutely wrong about Olivier Giroud. Such a good player, such a great signing by this club. But you guys, before I end this match review, the real reason why we won today's game was due to the system and the tactics. Now, yes, Aston Villa, they were resilient in the first half. But as time went on, as their players had to keep constantly running out wide to close us down, they got more tired and more tired and more tired, freeing up even more space. And, eventually after like the millionth crosses that Alonso and Aspi put in, they were finally able to produce something of quality after like a million tries, which was good for us in the end. But, it really just tells you that if we had the right personnel on the team, some of our new signings and some of our potential new signings too, you can really see how this football that Lampard's implemented here is going to go to a different level and get even better. I was not impressed with the quality of the fullbacks today, you guys. I really was not. There was not enough attacking threat or quality, especially due to the positional dominance both our fullbacks had. So it was disappointing. I'm hoping Reece James is fit against Man City, and I'm hoping Emerson does something in training for Lampard to use him, because actually when he's on form, he's quite decent. But anyway, you guys, that is going to be me for today. This was the match review. 2-1 win against Aston Villa. We did it in the end, you guys. It was never going to be too easy. First game back after such a long time, but the players performed. They did their thing. Lampard made the subs at the right time too, and it was an important 3 points we needed to take forward to that Man City game. But you guys, on that note, I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And later on, there is going to be a player ratings video and another fan review. So you guys, it's going to be a big day today. I'm in the FC. This is Blue Lion CV. I'll see you guys later with some more videos.